Hello and welcome to the Overseas Property Show. This week we are in Italy.
I'll be looking at a range of properties from the Alpine regions, the beautiful Lake Districts, across to the Adriatic and back here to Pisa.
And I'll be taking a closer look at what there is to do and see while you're there.
The Italian property market is no speculator's market, with single-figured steady increases over the past few years. The overseas market here predominantly appeals to the lifestyle investor who's looking for good design, good build quality and oodles of culture. For our first stop in Italy, I'm looking at a lifestyle investment in Projeto, a 5-star resort with alpine chalets with all the trimmings on offer.
And while we're there, I visit the resort spa. In the local area, I visit the Venestrelli fort and take to the mountains for a spot of hiking and mountain biking.
There are direct flights, a little over 2 hours, from Dublin to Turin in Italy on Saturdays with Ryanair, and Aer Lingus fly to Lyon in France 4 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays.
An hour and a half drive from Turin will take you to the Chisone Valley and the village of Projeto, 1,500 metres up in the Italian Alps. Normally regarded as a winter destination, Projeto has over 3,000 hectares of protected parkland, so during the off-season there's still plenty of activities on offer, such as hiking, climbing, cycling and canyoning, to name just a few. But it is in winter that the park allows for some impressive cross-country skiing. What I like about Projeto is that it has its very own cable car, giving you direct access to the famous Milky Way and over 400 kilometres of world-class skiing.
Our featured ski resort is Projeto Village Resort here in the Italian Alps, just 10 minutes from the world-famous Sestriere. Now, this region is known for the 2006 Winter Olympics and hosts some of the best facilities and runs in Europe. Now, the resort itself, the village, is Italian design all the way. It's centred by a 5-star hotel and they're offering 1, 2 and 3 bedroom chalets for sale. So let's check them out. With this development, they're going for a blend of traditional features and contemporary luxury. These are exclusive properties, as is the price tag, but they do come fully fitted and finished to the finest detail. The chalets start off with the 1 bed. Now this one is actually split over 2 levels, so it has a real little house feel to it. Well, maybe a tree house, but it is very cosy. Upstairs, the bedroom and the bathrooms have generous layout. You've also got fully vaulted ceilings, which will give you an extra sense of space. The 2-bedroom chalets come in at around 80 square metres and have a decent feel of size to them at that. Their layout is living areas downstairs, bedrooms upstairs. Upstairs there's an equal split between 2 double bedrooms. You've also got a large bathroom. Downstairs the 2nd bathroom also encompasses a shower, so in essence you've 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Before we look at the 3-bed, let's take a break at the resort spa.
There is nothing better after a big day in the slopes than to head for some much needed TLC. And if you wipe out as often as I do up there, you'll want to spend many an evening here at the spa. You can get pretty much any treatment you want here, from aromatherapy and shiatsu massage to facials and pedicures, which may be exactly what you need after a day in those boots. They even have a volcanic clay beauty treatment. Oh, sounds just heavenly. Now, for the romantics out there, they even have a couples room. How cute is this? Treatments start at about €35 for a basic manicure and can go up to about €135 for a massage. And if you're feeling energetic, the resort also has a well-equipped gym, complete with cardio and weights.
The 3-bedroom chalet jumps significantly in size to 150 square metres and has a full-on house feel to it. Open plan and spacious downstairs, you could envisage the whole family hanging out here, compared to the one in the 2-bed, which would be a little more of a squeeze. The 3-bed also comes with its own separate kitchen, allowing for slightly easier catering, and it might tempt you to eat out a little less. With 3 decent-sized double or twin rooms, this chalet will comfortably sleep 6, and with the added benefit of having 3 bathrooms, each with either a shower or a bath in it, there'll be no fighting. Each property also comes with a storage and basement area for hanging your skis and your wet gear. Resort facilities include a number of high-end restaurants. There are 3 fashionable bars, a convenience store, a small boutique and a delicatessen. There is also a cinema and 2 kids clubs, one for teenagers and one for toddlers, affording you the opportunity for some quiet time. Activities just outside the resort include golf at the driving range, a spot of horse riding, and if you're the daring type, you can take some ski jumping lessons at the nearby jump school.
If you're looking for a little bit of history or you simply just want something different to do, then you have definitely got to check this place out behind me, Venestrelli Fortress. It houses the largest covered staircases in Europe. Darling. There are 4,000 steps in there and it's about 3 kilometres in length. It's kind of like Italy's answer to a mini Great Wall of China, so bring some serious good walking shoes. Now you can take a 7-hour, a 3-hour or a short 1-hour tour and it'll set you back between €6 and €12, but it is very impressive.
All I worship.
Next we head to the Italian Lake District where we visit Lake Iseo, Como and Garda, each with their own lakeside hideaway.
Lake Iseo, or otherwise known as Sabina, would be the 4th largest lake in the Lombardy region, and because of this it's a lot less known outside of Italy than the likes of Garda and Como. What is interesting about this place is it's home to Mount Isola, which would be the largest inland lake island in Europe. It's easy to get to, you just hop on a ferry. Sarnico is one of the main towns based on the southern part of Lake Iseo. It's a charming little place and it's rich in history. It offers a lovely, peaceful and relaxed way of life.
This is Le Residence sul Porto here in Sarnico, and it's about 20 minutes drive from Bergamo Airport. Thank you very much, Ryanair. Now, Lake Iseo is the smallest of the 3 lakes we're going to be looking at. It's also the least developed, and as a result, the prices are the least developed too. The development will comprise about 50% permanent residents and 50% lifestyle investors. Price-wise, you're talking about €3,000 per square metre upwards, but that does include your own personal storage in the basement of 10 square metres and decent outside spaces, be it balconies or gardens. If you're looking for your own private garage, you'll be looking at an additional €23,000. This is a 2-bedroom loft apartment that's been fully finished and furnished. Typical Italian style, just enough flair but nothing gaudy. Now all the apartments differ in size and layout in their development. I mean, come on, this is Italy. You can't have an apartment that's the same as your neighbours. The The apartments start at about 50 square metres for a studio, with 2 beds starting at around 90 square metres. And as the development is geared as much towards the domestic residential market as it is to the lifestyle investor, the apartments are generally bigger than those specifically built as holiday homes. I just wanted to show you this one bed because it's pretty much how they come. You choose your finishes as part of the price. However, most apartments in Italy don't come with the kitchens installed. Nobody wants somebody else's taste, they keep telling me around here. So don't forget to factor in the additional fit-out costs in your budget if you're considering a purchase. Just an example of the Italian developer's attention to detail, each of these apartments are named after a fruit, and they've all been hand painted on the outside of the building. You wouldn't see that in many places. Join us after the break for some more on the Lake District, a visit to the east coast near Venice, and some quiet time in the Tuscan hills. Now we move west to Lake Como to look at a new eco-friendly development that is under construction. Lake Como is probably the most visually striking of all the Italian lakes, and its landscape reminds me of a New Zealand fjord where the land juts right out of the water for hundreds of metres, and dotted along its shoreline is some of the most spectacular mansions and villas you'll see anywhere in the world.
Getting around this incredible lake is hassle-free. You can ferry it, take a passenger boat, drive it or cycle. But if you want to know the best way to do it, in my opinion, it's by bike. And when you're in Italy, you gotta do it in style. Iseo is perfectly located in the centre, linking both the north and the south parts of the lake. Now, the town centre itself is absolutely stunning, with that typical Italian flair and architecture just daring you to laze away the entire day drinking your cappuccinos and latte macchiatos.
Just above Menagio and about 10 minutes walk from here, the town centre, is the small and picturesque development of Pergola de Sangegna, which has been aptly named after the traditional pergolas that grace the little alleyways and streets of this pretty town. As you can see, the development is nowhere near completion, and it's so unique we can't really compare it to anything else in the area. For example, solar panels will heat the water used in the pool, which uses rainwater captured and filtered in underwater storage tanks, which will also feed the irrigation system for the whole of the development, and the whole lot is going to be computer controlled. Not looking good for the groundsman, is it? Taking a look at the model gives a better feel for the layout of what the completed development will eventually look like. I'm standing on what will be the balcony of a 2-bedroom apartment, and that's Menagio, that's Lake Como, and this is the view. I was trying desperately to find something to criticise on this development, but I have to admit to being smitten with the whole Lake Como experience. Oh yeah, there was one catch. They ain't cheap.
Just east of Lake Como lies the famous Lake Garda.
Lake Garda is Italy's largest lake, and as such offers a bit of everything, not just sailing and water sports, but mountain biking, trekking, some excellent golf courses and some pretty lively nightlife. It's also in a very good location for day trips to Verona, Milan or even Venice. And don't forget, Italy is very family orientated, and that's always a good thing. Salo on the western side of Lake Garda is a place of designer sunglasses, fashion and all things hip. They seem to have embraced the modern world while still holding on to the old world ambience. I just love the old cobblestone back streets and the way the shops are built into the historic buildings. It's fantastic.
If you'd like a high-end apartment on the shores of Lake Garda, and I mean literally on the shore of Lake Garda, well, this is one of the very few available. You see, in the lakes of Italy, there aren't hundreds of developments dotted along the shoreline. Sites in good locations are very few and far between. Let's check it out. Palazzo Morgante, or Morgante Palace as it's also known, is a completely refurbished 19th century retirement home that's been divided into 24 unique apartments and some commercial units. Now the apartments vary in their size but are all similar in terms of their style, and you're looking at over 400,000 for a large one bed, and for a 3-bedroom penthouse, a little bit over $1 million. Inside, the apartments have kept a lot of their original features and thus that old world charm. The columns are Verona marble, that's the one with the ready tint in it, and the marble on the stairwell is the rare Italian Botticino marble that we see in some of the world's most famous statues, including the statue of David. Other characteristics include the oak parquet flooring and the original exposed beam occasion ceilings. The apartments come in the typical Italian shell style, like we saw in Iseo. As the building is listed, there has been little alteration to the original design allowed. Now this may add to the architectural value of the property, but not to its practical value. A number of these apartments are split over 2 levels, and you'd want to be pretty energetic to navigate the spiral staircase on a regular basis. However, there are a number of apartments just on 1 level, and although they may not be as cool as the others, they'd make more sense to someone who's thinking of retiring to this smashing location. All the apartments come with those views over the lake and the gardens, which leads down to the development's private dock, where you can moor your boat. Whilst in the Lake District, I caught up with international property expert Liz Maher to give us a lowdown on the buying process in Italy.
As far as Italy is concerned, or buying in Italy, it's probably a little safer than some of the countries, because when you purchase in Italy, there are you put your reservation fee, then your deposit, but any monies that are paid to the developer in Italy are safeguarded and bonded. So therefore, that developer has no access to that money. So if anything should happen during the course of the build, you can actually get fully refunded on any of the monies that you've paid.
Very good. And say I've had my property now in Italy for a number of years, I decide to sell it. What are the tax implications, capital gains, etc. if I go to sell in a few years' time?
Well, if you sell before 5 years, it depends. There is a few different levels of capital gains tax. If you sell after the 5 years, then there's no capital gains. Therefore, there is a double taxation treaty between Ireland and Italy, so you can avail of that. But once again, you should check with your accountant and get some legal advice also on the tax issues.
We move east to the Adriatic coast now to Lido di Jesolo. Aer Lingus fly direct from Dublin into Venice Marco Polo 5 days a week, and Ryanair fly from Dublin to Venice Treviso Monday, Wednesday and Sunday.
Lido di Jesolo is a purpose-built holiday resort town in the northeast of Italy, just about 30 minutes outside of Venice. Basically, it's a 15-kilometre stretch of sandy beaches, hotels, restaurants and bars. As you can imagine, beach sports dominate here, but there are other things to do. You can try your hand at go-karting, golfing or even some horse riding. It's off-season at the moment, so this place is very quiet, but in the summer it is absolutely thronged with people, and the main strip via Bafili becomes pedestrianised from 8 o'clock at night until 6 o'clock in the morning, so it opens itself up to shoppers, clubbers and a little bit of craziness.
This is Laguna Park in central Jesolo. It's about 2 minutes drive from here to the nearest beach. It's been designed by the same architects that have recently built the new airport in Venice, and as it's a resort development, it's aimed at the buy-to-let investor looking to use his property for personal use for a number of weeks throughout the year. As the properties are aimed at the investor, they do come in turnkey condition, so you won't need to worry about things like fitting kitchens in these ones. Again, the finishes are simple, but the Italians just get it right. They just have nice stuff. And in fact, the developers in Ireland, or some of them anyway, could take a leaf out of their book. At €3,000 to €3,500 per square metre, the properties here are smaller than the ones we saw in the Lake District, where the properties are aimed just as much for the residential market as they are towards the overseas investor. An average 2-bed here will be a little over 60 square metres, and as a result will feel a little pokey, but will cost you far less, in the region of about €200,000. All the apartments come with large balconies, which does make up for their lack of size in certain areas. And whereas in Ireland we obsess with south and west facing properties, in warmer climes such as Italy, they look just as much for east and north facing properties, as the light and the heat is less intense.
Heading back west across Italy, we pass through the picturesque region of Tuscany to the hilltop village of Rivalto. Rivalto is 44 kilometres from Pisa Airport. In peak season, Ryanair flies direct from Dublin every day with a flight time of 2 hours and 45 minutes. On entering this medieval village, I felt like I'd been transported back in time, and in some respects I had. Rivalto has one grocery store, a butcher's, a bar and a restaurant, and if you blink you'll probably miss it, but it is full of character and could grow on you quite easily.
Our next featured developer selects and restores old prestigious buildings, as well as building smaller, more traditional style developments. So if you're one of those people that likes to keep a little bit to yourself or likes to avoid the tourist hype, well then this might tickle your fancy. The complex will feature 23 units made up of apartments and townhouses, and good sizes too, 1-beds coming in at about 80 square metres, 2-bedrooms, 2-up, 2-down townhouses coming in at just over 90 square metres, but with the added benefit of a garden as well. And at about €2,000 per square metre, these present some of the best value we've seen in Italy so far, if you like the quiet life. We've travelled back to the hills behind Florence to look at a previously completed development to try and give you a better feel of what the finished article at Rivalto will be like. They're going for a rustic and authentic feel to these. It's kind of like the Italian equivalent of an Irish modern country-style cottage, a kind of a blend of traditional features and mod cons. It's all about originality away from the noise. These properties are in an idyllic setting and look to be great value for money when completed. However, the whole Tuscan mountain get away from it experience seems somewhat dampened by the fact there's a hotel being built half a mile up the road. But at least there'll be a few extra facilities close by, and maybe an extra bar too. The development at Rivalto will also contain its own private pool, but again, I just wanted to give you guys a taste of the kind of the peace and tranquil vibe that these developers are trying to create with all their projects. I have to say, Italy has been one of the most relaxing locations. I think it's kind of reflective of the culture around here.
Oh, I love this country. Every time I've been here, I've never been disappointed. I love the traditions, the food, the wine, the people, everything.
The attention you get with that blonde hair around here.
Of course, the Italian men. But if I had to choose a place that we've been to, it would probably be Lake Como.
Yeah, I think the Lake District in terms of property is definitely the most impactful. Obviously, you're going to pay a little more for it up there. And then for a family, you're looking at Tuscany, Jesolo, a little more to do for families. If you would like any further information on any of the properties or locations featured, you can visit the programme website www.propertytv.eu or call save 1850 739 739. Calls will cost you only 8 cents.